Hello everyone, Lawrence here, and today we're looking at Logitech's POWERPLAY mousepad. So this is a wireless charging mousepad, and then to test it I also have a Logitech G703 LIGHTSPEED mouse right here. So the POWERPLAY mousepad is actually quite like a wireless phone charger in that it is wirelessly charging the device that's on top of it, in this case a mouse. The idea here is that you can have a completely untethered experience, no cables on your mouse whatsoever, but you'll still never run out of battery because it's constantly on a wireless charger. And it's not in like a specific spot. Anywhere on the mousepad, the mouse will charge, which is pretty damn sweet, because what it means is no cables, a lighter mouse, and unlimited battery life. So the POWERPLAY mousepad is actually a very thin rubber slab. It's somewhat flexible, but you really shouldn't bend it too much because inside of it are a bunch of wires that create an electromagnetic field which will then charge the mouse if you have the little insert in your mouse, but more about that later. In size, it's decent for low DPI gaming, so Counter-Strike players, I think it's just the right size. It shouldn't be too much smaller, but it's perfectly good. And then on top of the rubber slab, you can put two of the included Logitech mousepads. Right now I have a hard pad on here, but I actually do prefer the soft mousepad because it just feels a little bit better. It's not as slidey. I also tested it with third-party mousepads like this really thick MSI one, which is 5mm thick, and it still works. So that's awesome. On the left top of the mousepad is this rather bulky rectangular thingy-majig, and it's actually the receiver for your mouse. So your wireless receiver for the mouse is right next to your mouse. Awesome, really low latency, incredible stability. Again, more about that later. But it is a bit large, and it only really has an Rgb Logitech logo and then a little white LED to indicate whether or not a mouse is charging on top of this thing. I think that maybe in a future revision, Logitech can maybe include a card reader or a USB hub to make it a little bit more functional, or just make it smaller, one of those two. But for now, it's really rather large. And then on the back of this brick, there's your charging port. Logitech has this winged USB connector. You can also use normal USB cables, but this is really easy to insert, and it's the same cable for the mouse. Now the cable is no longer on the mouse, instead it's on the mousepad, so it doesn't really matter all that much, but it's a very long, braided and very supple cable, so it's awesome for cable managing it behind your desk. It's not going to be a problem. So given that it's a wireless charger for your mouse that you can use while using the mouse, how fast does it actually charge then? Well, not very fast. If you're doing heavy gaming with the RGB LEDs on, you're not actually going to charge the mouse. It's actually more of a break-even scenario. If you turn the lights on, it'll slowly charge. But the thing is, it's always on there, and the mouse itself has about 20 to 30 hours, depending on the lighting, of its own battery life. So even if you're doing insanely intense gaming, you're still never going to run out of battery, even if you play 24/7, which is awesome because you still get that completely untethered experience. So now that we've concluded that the POWERPLAY mousepad is insanely awesome technology, what about this mouse that I've been testing it with? So this is the G703 LIGHTSPEED wireless gaming mouse. LIGHTSPEED is this connection standard that Logitech has with their gaming mice. And basically it means super low latency and great stability at a decent power level draw. And I can confirm all of that. So basically while gaming, the input lag, not noticeable whatsoever. It's as good or better than any wired mouse that I've ever tested in my life. The mouse itself comes with its own dongle and an adapter and a cable, so no matter what device you're using it with, you're probably going to be able to use it. So you can have it on the POWERPLAY mousepad when you're at home, and then when you take it with you, you just plug the little dongle into your laptop. As I said, you get about 20 hours of Rgb battery life, and there are two zones. So one of them is at the back, the Logitech logo, and then also the scroll wheel. Those are two separate zones, and you can program those separately. In the bottom of the mouse is a little cover, and so there you can put in the included 10-gram weight. Noteworthy here is that if you use the POWERPLAY insert, then you can no longer use the weight, but then the POWERPLAY insert is slightly heavier than the standard plastic covers, so it's about break even. Ergonomically, the G703 is actually really good. It is a lot smaller than the MX Master that I'm used to and that I'm using to edit this video, but it fits my hand rather well. So even if you're claw or palm gripping, it fits very well. It isn't quite a symmetrical shape, but you can use it left-handedly if you're willing to make a few compromises here. The top and the back and the mouse buttons are a somewhat coarse plastic Really nice. They don't make your hands sweat all that much. It's not like glossy plastic would. And then on the sides there are rubber grips, which makes it really handy to lift and lower the mouse when you're adjusting your aim, for example. The buttons feel really good, as do the side buttons for browser navigation or whatever you want to program them to, as well as a DPI switch. What I'm not such a fan of is the scroll wheel, which is a bit mushy feeling, but then I'm used to the MX Master, which has the best scroll wheel in the world. I wish they would implement it in their gaming mice as well. But overall, ergonomically speaking, and comfort-wise, great mouse. Performance-wise, it's an incredibly precise mouse as well, even wirelessly, because it really doesn't make a difference. Inside is the PMW3366 sensor, so that's an optical sensor which goes all the way up to 12,000 dpi. In my testing, I run it at around 1600, depending on the game that I'm playing, and I really like it that way. It's super accurate, no acceleration or any of that nonsense going on. Really love it. It's almost perfect, and a lot of people will actually argue that this is the best sensor in the world. Now, I've already mentioned that some of the stuff can be programmed along with the lighting, which can be set all through Logitech's G software, which is an awesome software hub from Logitech that will control all your Logitech products, even your webcam. And basically what you can set is, first of all, the lighting. So both the POWERPLAY mousepad and the mouse have RGB zones. You can set them to basically do whatever you want, and you can also sync up the lighting effects between all your Logitech peripherals, which, you know, makes everything look a lot neater. Then you can also program the buttons on your mouse. So any button on this mouse can be programmed to do just about anything. So if you want your button to be a keystroke, like I use for the normal browser navigation button, is actually my map and my tap button in PUBG. You can do that. You can basically program any button to do anything. And then in the POWERPLAY mousepad settings in the Logitech G app, you can also use presets for the mousepads that you're using. So it comes with the hard pad and the cloth pad, and so those are presets which are available in the app already. You can also add in your own mousepad profile, so that's awesome that you can calibrate everything in one simple app. So then for our conclusion, which is also the overall experience with the POWERPLAY stuff and the LIGHTSPEED stuff, it's amazing. You get incredible freedom from a fully wireless mouse, no cables except for the one going to the mousepad itself. But you're so free, you're never hitting anything with your cable, or you don't need a bungee. I really like it. It's super precise, it works well, you never have to ever think about charging your mouse again. Awesome, because I always run out of battery life when I'm playing video games, and it's always in the most important part of an important game that you run out of battery, not with this stuff. So yeah, I absolutely love this. It's gonna start giving this back to Logitech because I really enjoyed my time using it. Anyway guys, if you like this video, please press the like button, hit the subscribe button, it helps me out an insane amount. We're nearly at 9K subscribers now, so help me get to 10K please, I would love that. And if you want to get more frequent updates, I actually post an awful lot of beautiful pictures on Instagram, and I do some raging on Twitter. So if you want nice stuff, go to Instagram. If you want to hear me rage on everything, go to my Twitter. Everything's linked in the description below. For now though, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.